When a man blocks you, it's a good thing, because although you think he doesn't care, it's actually the opposite. Because if a man truly didn't care, he would just move on quietly. He would leave you unread, disappear, and never look back. Ladies, blocking is emotional. It's a reaction. And reactions always come from feelings. But let me tell you the truth. A man who blocks you isn't strong. He's basically immature. He is uncomfortable with his own emotions. And instead of processing what happened, he needs to control the situation. That's why he blocks you, to hurt you, so that he can feel powerful again. Not realizing that he just confirmed that he's not the kind of man you should ever want to be with. So what do when a man shows you that he doesn't want you? You don't text from another number. You definitely don't try to explain yourself. No, what you do is you drop him like a stone. And you move on with grace. Because the kind of man who can't handle you being in his contacts definitely can't handle you being in his life.
Have you ever made a woman pay for herself on a date? You seem like the type that would do 50-50.
Interesting.
Yes or no?
No. I feel I'm the provider of the family.
You're the provider,
Yeah,
so you have money.
Is that what you're here for?
No, I'm here for love, but I can never love a broke man. So everybody put your head down if you don't have money.
If more than half the guys raise their hands, the men may vote to replace the girl. I'll leave it on you guys.
And that's what happens when you get rejected.
This is why you will probably regret getting married. You would think, how is it possible that so many marriages fail during a time that we have all the knowledge in the world? But trust me, the reasons why we choose the wrong partners are very easy to explain. The problem is that you don't really know yourself. When you describe your future husband, you want him to be fun to be with, good looking, kind, and he needs to have a decent job. But this could be anybody. In order for you to make a more specific list with requirements, you have to start digging deep into yourself to understand what kind of man would actually fit you and make you content. But here's the thing, the men you meet are also stuck at the same level of self-knowledge as you are. So then you have two partners who show up with a bag filled with childhood traumas and whatnot, and although they have the best of intentions, they just don't know how to make marriage work. If we would live in an ideal society, there would be something like preschool before marriage. In this preschool, both partners would fill out detailed psychological questionnaires. It's the only way to understand more about yourself and about what kind of partner you should choose. Because now you're just hoping that his good looks and him treating you right, his beautiful blue eyes and his money in the bank will get you through your marriage.
Reason number 4. Older women lost their femininity trying to survive like men. Years of working, competing, and providing hardened them. They were told they didn't need a man, so they learned to think, move, and fight like men. They replaced grace with grind, softness with strategy, and patience with pressure. And after years of living that way, they forgot how to turn it off. Femininity, once it's suppressed long enough, it starts to die. And when it dies, so does everything men are naturally drawn to. By their 40s, over 90% of women's eggs are gone. Their fertility drops, hormones shift, and their bodies start to prioritize survival over reproduction. Independence turns into control, control turns into pride, and pride turns into resistance. Spiritually, it's disconnection. The natural side of a woman is replaced with the defensive side. And once that happens, femininity doesn't flow anymore. It has to be forced. So now, you have women in their 40s acting like men, thinking like men, and even competing with men, but still expecting men to treat them like women. It doesn't work that way. Femininity was never designed to survive in constant battle. It needs covering, structure, and peace to thrive. Without that, it collapses. And what's left is a facade, nothing real. That's why so many older women seem hardened, tense, and guarded. They've been in survival mode for too long. And the longer they stay there, the less capable they become of returning to their natural feminine state. Men see that. They don't argue with it, they just avoid it.
Most men don't want an independent, strong woman.
That is a fact. I'm almost willing to say all.
Nah, that's it.
I ain't gonna say that.
Go ahead.
Nobody wants that. Because the word independent means I don't need you, and that's exactly what we're talking about. Yes, look it up. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I want an independent, strong woman.
Let me get y'all.
I need it. That is a defense mechanism. It is out of habit. It is out of I have to do this. Independent, strong women do not want to do that. They want to rest. They want to be
break down that an independent woman is actually just a functioning human adult.
No, she's
that is the
not.
dumbest I've ever heard.
Person.
In the rent, you got your own car and your own apartment. Yes, I'm 28. Okay, I don't need you to get up. Okay, I'm about to blow my top on this. Okay,
Ladies, listen up. Feminism is not about equality anymore. It's about tearing down men and stripping women of their true power. The original idea of feminism was about giving women equal rights, the ability to vote, work, and have a voice. But somewhere along the way, it turned toxic. Modern feminism today tells women to hate men, reject families, and act like the very thing they claim to be fighting against. And here's the truth. Feminism didn't make women stronger. It made them miserable. It convinced women that being feminine is weak, that being nurturing, loving, and wanting a husband and kids somehow makes you less. That is not strength. That is pure confusion. Femininity is powerful. A feminine woman knows how to elevate her man, create peace in her home, and stand firm in her values without trying to be a man. Feminism breeds resentment. Femininity creates harmony, and that's the difference that nobody wants to admit. Ladies, you do not gain power by competing with the guys. You gain power by being fully feminine and letting men lead where they are meant to lead. Feminism destroyed that truth. Femininity restores it. And if that offends you, maybe that's the wake-up call that you need.
I don't know, because time and time again, men have been told not to approach us, let alone talk to us. And they better not assume that we can't do something for ourselves. And if they do make the mistake of assuming and actually try to help us or do something for us, they run the risk of being labeled a creep. A label that all men literally dread. That's why he's not giving his seat up. But I'll tell you what's amazing about these men is that even with the hate that they often receive from feminists, they would give their seat up in a heartbeat to a woman that asked him kindly. Not the woman that expects it but doesn't say anything and then post it online as some sort of proof that men are crap. No, the woman that he gives his seat up to will actually appreciate it and thank him. And trust me, men can tell the difference between these types of women. Guys, tell me if I'm wrong, but also tell me if I'm right on this.
I was a feminist when feminism was about equality, about levelling the playing field, giving women an opportunity to find their rightful place, particularly in the public world, which was tremendously important and exciting when we achieved that. But what feminism today, to me, is all about advantaging women at the expense of men. And it's become very much caught up in the demonisation of males, presenting them always at a disadvantage. And I don't want to have any part of that. I was writing recently about boys' education, which is something I've written about for many decades. And I came across an article I wrote 40 years ago where we just started to notice how badly boys were doing vis-a-vis girls. I mean, we'd had 10 years of programs trying to help girls do better in the schools, which was fantastic. And a lot of girls who had been held back by traditional assumptions about, girls not speaking up and girls not doing well in maths were now beginning to shine, which was a fantastic thing. But what was becoming very obvious is there were also a lot of boys falling behind and not achieving their potential. We have really very much feminist ideology infiltrating all our education systems, systematic programs to continue to advantage girls, and no one taking any notice of the fact that boys are falling out in huge numbers.
I feel like what you say, the men are different.
The
men are much more respectful.
Respectful now, because like before you could you be dancing and then after a while you got to turn back like, who the heck is this? No, I could be pushing back like, he gonna come? Right? Like I here doing the most work.
Sir, grab
like,
this wine.
No, but he's even know what they ain't come here for wine no more. Like they stand up watching.
The whole touching thing, because I always used to have an SPD and used to make me so annoyed when you pass people, they gotta touch you, especially the men. Now,
nobody hands up,
They don't even come at all. I was surprised when somebody come behind me.
Honestly,
it was very shocking.
I'm kind of confused. You guys sound like you're upset. You don't get
because
bum rushed
now
anymore.
Look, when we used to get touched, it was annoying.
You wanted to get bum rushed.
No, but you go into the complete opposite side. You need a balance. Don't touch me up disrespectfully.
Right.
Pull up on me.
Pull up. You could have been like,
just walk.